Okay, so you are browsing your phone and an ad pops up. A portable neck fan for $1.50, a wireless mechanical keyboard for $4, a high-definition security camera for $9. And the best part? Free shipping directly to your doorstep from halfway across the planet. It sounds like a glitch, a pricing error, or perhaps a scam. But you click the link, download the app, and you are immediately greeted by spinning discount wheels, countdown timers, flashing lightning deals, and a slogan that feels more like a hypnotic command. Shop like a billionaire. This is Temu. In less than 2 years, this Chinese e-commerce titan has infiltrated over 50 countries, racked up hundreds of millions of downloads, and secured its spot as the most downloaded app in the United States. During the Super Bowl, they spent tens of millions of dollars on commercials just to repeat those 4 words, shop like a billionaire. By volume, Temu and its fast fashion counterpart Shein are shipping an estimated 1 million packages to the US every single day. That is not a typo. 1 million individual parcels, packed in distinctive orange plastic, flying over the Pacific Ocean daily. But how is this economically possible? How can a company manufacture a physical item, pack it, put it on a Boeing 747, fly it 10,000 miles, clear customs, hand it to the US Postal Service, deliver it to your porch, and charge you less than the price of a cup of coffee? The answer is not just cheap Chinese labor. The reality is a masterclass in extreme supply chain manipulation, a massive geopolitical tax loophole, a high-stakes war for global air freight, and a business model that is losing billions of dollars on purpose. This is the brutal, brilliant, and terrifying economics of Temu. To understand Temu, we have to look past the orange app and look at the company that actually owns it, PDD Holdings. PDD Holdings is a multi-billion-dollar Chinese conglomerate. Before they launched Temu in late 2022, they perfected their business model in China with an app called Pinduoduo. Pinduoduo revolutionized retail by pioneering social commerce. They realized that if you gamify shopping, making users form teams with friends to unlock lower prices, you can generate viral growth without spending a dime on traditional advertising. But more importantly, PDD Holdings perfected what is called the C2M model, consumer to manufacturer. In traditional retail, a product goes through a long, expensive chain. A factory in Shenzhen sells to an exporter, who sells to an importer, who sells to a national distributor, who sells to a wholesaler, who sells to a retail store like Walmart or Target, who finally sells to you. Every single hand in that chain takes a cut, pushing the price of a 50-cent plastic spatula up to $10 on a store shelf. Temu's C2M model completely obliterates this chain. Temu acts as an absolute, direct pipe from the factory floor in China to the consumer's doorstep in Ohio or London. There are no importers, no distributors, no warehouses in the West, no retail stores. Temu tells the factories exactly what consumers are buying based on real-time data. If a certain style of sunglasses starts trending, Temu's algorithms detect it instantly, order a small batch from a Chinese factory, and list it on the app. If it sells, they ramp up production. If it doesn't, they liquidate it. The factories don't even have to worry about shipping or marketing. Temu handles all the logistics. But cutting out the middleman still doesn't explain how you can ship a single $2 item across the globe for free. To understand that, we have to look at a century-old legal loophole. If Walmart wants to import 100,000 t-shirts from China, they load them onto a giant container ship. When that ship arrives at a US port, Walmart has to pay import tariffs, undergo strict customs inspections, and file extensive paperwork. This is how international trade has worked for centuries. But Temu doesn't ship in bulk container ships. Temu ships individual packages directly to individual shoppers, and because of this, they qualify for a massive legal exception known as the de minimis loophole. Under Section 321 of the U.S. Tariff Act of 1930, any shipment entering the United States with a fair retail value of under $800 is exempt from all import duties, taxes, and rigorous customs inspections. Historically, this law was designed so travelers wouldn't have to pay taxes on small souvenirs they brought back from vacation. But Temu and Shein turned this minor exception into a multi-billion-dollar highway. Because every single Temu package is addressed to an individual person and is worth far less than $800, almost none of their products pay a single cent in US tariffs. While American retail stores pay up to 25% in tariffs on Chinese goods, Temu pays zero. This loophole does two things. First, it gives Temu an artificial, government-sanctioned price advantage over every local business in the West. Second, it overwhelms customs border protection. With millions of small packages arriving daily, it is physically impossible for customs officers to inspect them. It is a blind spot in global trade, and Temu is driving a freight train right through it. Because Temu relies on shipping individual, small packages directly from China to your house, they cannot use slow cargo ships. Cargo ships take 30 days to cross the ocean. Temu customers expect their packages in a week. This means Temu has to use airplanes. Right now, Temu and Shein are single-handedly transforming the global air cargo industry. Together, they are responsible for shipping about 9,000 tons of freight every single day. That is equivalent to filling 88 Boeing 747 freighters to maximum capacity day in and day out. This massive volume has completely broken the air freight market. Air cargo capacity is limited. Usually, the bellies of passenger planes and dedicated cargo jets are filled with high-value, time-sensitive electronics like iPhones, medical equipment, or auto parts. But today, those planes are filled with $2 plastic toys, cheap makeup brushes, and fast-fashion t-shirts. Because Temu is buying up almost every available cubic meter of air cargo space out of southern China, air freight prices have skyrocketed. Normal companies that rely on air shipping to keep their factories running are suddenly priced out. Temu's sheer volume is causing a global shortage of cargo space, forcing logistics companies to lease planes years in advance just to survive. Temu is literally subsidizing the sky, paying astronomical rates to air carriers to ensure that your cheap gadgets arrive within their guaranteed shipping window. Which leads to a crucial question. How can they afford this? The secret to Temu's low prices is that, on a per-package basis, Temu is losing a staggering amount of money. Industry analysts estimate that Temu loses an average of 30% on every single order they ship to the United States. In their rush to capture global market share, Temu is subsidizing the shipping costs, the marketing costs, and the product costs out of their own pocket. PDD Holdings is using its massive domestic profits from China to fund Temu's multi-billion-dollar global expansion. But the financial loss isn't the only cost. The real cost of Temu's business model is paid by the manufacturers, the environment, and human rights. Temu's relationship with its suppliers is notoriously brutal. Because Temu controls the marketplace, they force factories into a race to the bottom. If a factory lists a product on Temu and another factory offers to make it for 2 cents less, Temu will automatically demote the first factory's listing. Suppliers are forced to operate on near zero margins, leading to extreme pressure to cut corners on material quality, environmental standards, and labor practices. Furthermore, U.S. congressional investigations have raised massive red flags regarding forced labor in Temu's supply chain. Because Temu's packages bypass standard customs inspections due to the de minimis loophole, they escape the enforcement of laws like the Uyghur Forced Labor Prevention Act. Then there is the environmental toll. Every week, Millions of cheap, low-quality plastic items are flown across the world, only to break within a few uses and end up in local landfills. The carbon footprint of flying a single plastic trinket on a jet engine halfway across the globe is an environmental disaster of unprecedented scale. So, what is Temu's endgame? Why would a company spend billions of dollars on Super Bowl ads, lose 30% on every order, and break the global shipping industry just to sell cheap goods? They are playing the classic tech disruptor long game. Step 1 is absolute market domination. By offering prices that no Western retail store nor even Amazon can possibly match, Temu aims to crush the competition and build a massive, loyal user base. They want to make shopping on Temu a default habit for the global working class. Step 2 is capturing your data. Temu is not just a shopping app. It is a highly sophisticated data harvesting machine. By tracking your browsing habits, your location, your device information, and your social connections, Temu's parent company builds incredibly detailed profiles of Western consumers. This data is incredibly valuable and can be monetized in ways that have nothing to do with selling plastic spatulas. Step 3 is raising prices. Once local retailers are driven out of business, and once consumers are fully hooked on the gamified dopamine loops of the app, Temu will gradually reduce its shipping subsidies and allow prices to rise to a profitable level. But this strategy has a major vulnerability. Governments around the world are finally waking up. In the United States and Europe, lawmakers are actively pushing to reform or completely eliminate the de minimis loophole. If the tax-free limit is lowered, or if Temu is forced to pay standard import tariffs on every single package, their economic model collapses overnight. A 25% tariff on a $2 item, combined with the cost of formal customs clearance, would instantly make their business unprofitable. Temu is in a high-speed race against time. Can they lock in hundreds of millions of consumers and build an unbreakable global monopoly before governments close the loopholes that made them rich? The next time you open the app and look at a $1 gadget, remember, you aren't just buying a product. You are participating in a massive, high-stakes economic war that is reshaping global trade, empty skies, and the very future of retail.